When completing her research, Jennifer Fleury Lawson will utilize an instrumental case study, which will focus on mandatory mathematics and information technology courses at one higher education institution. Specifically, Ms. Fleury Lawson will research how active problem-based learning in college mathematics and information systems courses improves student achievement in mandatory courses. For her data analysis, Ms. Fleury Lawson plans to utilize the sensor Student Achievement of Learning Gains. It will be given to students in the original and new courses in order to determine how much specific activities helped student learning. Final grades in original and new courses, along with faculty surveys pertaining to designated course milestones, will also be analyzed.
This is Michael Gelando, and I'm going to be briefly discussing how I would approach my dissertation or thesis from the approach of analysis. So I'll be looking at response for intervention data, and what I'll be doing is I'll be collecting this data by trying to utilize a semi-formal interview, which allows some structure and flexibility in gathering information in interviews with identified individuals. I'm going to transcribe, translate, label, and code this data, and it's important for me to gain access to staff documents and secure time with the participants to make sure that I'm getting the data in a timely fashion, as well as in a way in which to allow me to analyze it, as I will probably be doing both data collection and analysis at the same time. In regard to how I want to analyze within the case study, I really think it's important for the trustworthiness and ability of the data to come through the analysis approach. So to that end, what I feel is very important is for me as a researcher is to analyze the data sources that I'll be collecting and coding them for themes and trying to triangulate the information into some kind of interpretative pattern, or just try to generate some of those interpretations that will be coming through the data. I think it's also additionally important to have peer review and debriefing, which would allow me as the researcher to work with another participant, possibly another doctoral student who's at a similar point or have a similar topic within our program, to review the themes of my case, and to be an objective partner who would help, again, check the integrity of the process and the study. We would both be able to keep records of our conversations, which will hopefully provide validity to this analysis approach. One of the other things that I may choose to do is be clearly articulating my own biases. As a researcher, you have your own, in a qualitative study, the researcher is an active participant. And it's important for that, according to Criswell and Maxwell, that that they kind of talk about the researcher as an acting agent. Both as a researcher, it's important for me to articulate my views or opinions, whether that's about education or about my relationship to this site, that I will be interviewing staff. So I think that's important to be upfront about in order to kind of make sure that there's trustworthiness in the study. I also think that in regard to writing very clearly detailed descriptions about the content and the data and the synthesis of that data is very important. So I think, again, making sure that the organization is there, making sure the coding is there, making sure the description is there, so that way that people feel confident in the information that's being provided. And last, I really think it's important to, as a researcher, to interpret and note rival interpretations and conclusions that may either contradict what I'm saying, whether they have support or not, or are these areas that may need further research. I think that these rival theories may come up, they may not, but if they do come up, I think it's important as a researcher to note them because they may have some bearing for further research. But I think as also noting it also allows you as a researcher to be showing that you have considered these things in a way that allows you to be more credible.
So my approach to data analysis is outlined here below. Just a reminder, I'm doing a collective case study which is going to focus on the effect that orientation materials and program expectations might have on the sociocultural adjustment of Chinese secondary exchange students. So I plan to go out through random purposeful sampling to find my participants. I'm hoping to find 3 or 4 participants throughout the states that will work with me, leaders in their exchange organization. And this will help to ensure that I get a richness of data by looking at different cases. I plan to triangulate the data through the use of face-to-face interviews, also field observations, and then review the documented orientation materials and documented materials on students' adjustment to the states. They do that through a number of reports that they have to do for the Department of State. For the interview process, I plan to use a semi-structured interview. This will allow me to keep my focus and to make sure that I'm getting the data I need for the study. And then to analyze that through categorical aggregation. Again, looking for some common themes there through the coding of the materials and the data that I find. I'll use at the end, once I finish the coding and analysis, member checking by going back out to the participants and asking them to look at the findings that I've put together. This will ensure, again, dependability. And then I'll use detailed descriptives while I'm writing that, so it will hopefully be transferable to other situations and to other organizations.
My approach to data analysis, which is still not finalized yet, I'm still working on this. Let me say first of all, my topic is titled this way: Strategic Leadership Does Matter. A theoretical perspective of the strategy adopted by the international community to address poverty in Haiti. And my key question is, what are the impacts of the international strategies to promote non-governmental organizations as substitute for the state in Haiti? This in terms of data analysis, I plan to use a comparative method, which is not yet final and completely defined. I'm still working on this, but that's where things stand at the moment.